The only thing that matters is the opinion of Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. I don't give a damn what nobody else says. I don't care about what Stephen A. Smith says. I don't care about what your mom says, what your dad says, what your brother says, what your friend says, what your baby mama says. I don't care. They think Daniel Jones is really, really good. They think he's a franchise quarterback, and they think he's that kind of level of player, could be a top 10 quarterback in this league. That is the only opinion that should matter, period. Because I don't know more football than Brian Daboll or Joe Shane. I'm not that arrogant. So I don't know why anybody else would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know why anybody else would think that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They reppin' Jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. You playing the seats, now it's on the grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. He was really, I did not tell you.
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Welcome back to the Bench Mob Ent Podcast. You already know the ground rules. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star rate and a 5-star review. We're on all streaming platforms and YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. Follow us there. Fellas, how are y'all doing tonight? We got Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, Debate Your Mother Since Mayor, and Miles, Smooth Operator Davenport. How y'all living?
Happy Power Day, y'all. The only St. Patrick I acknowledge is James St. Patrick. That's it. And Tariq. That's it. I'm locked in. 12 o'clock. Tap in. I don't know what else we're talking about tomorrow. That drinking, wearing green, all that. Nah, watch Power. That's it.
Smooth Operator, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We got, green and white. There's a lot of things to be proud of for this weekend.
And of course, I'm your host, Antonio, Mr. Still Not Worried. What has been the biggest free agent move so far? And that's actually happened. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, but it hasn't happened yet. What's the biggest free agent move that's happened, whether it's a trade, free agent signing? What's the biggest thing so far NFL offseason?
Yeah, well, the biggest – Miles, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say Ramsey to the Dolphins is pretty big for what they gave up for him, 3rd-round pick, and I don't know who is it, Howie Long they gave up? I don't even know the guy's name. It's irrelevant. But you're getting a starting all-pro caliber cornerback to pair up on that defense, which, I mean, you look at it from top to bottom, now that defense looks pretty good, which, I mean, you're going to need that defense to be pretty good because you don't know if, Tua, is he going to make it out the first game, first month?
I think the biggest move hasn't happened yet, in my opinion.
What?
I think it's the Jets move. It hasn't happened yet. The trade. That trade is the biggest move that'll happen. I think everyone's talking about it because anytime you get a quarterback in there, an all-time level quarterback to play for your team, even if he gets to the end of his career, to come in, you're gonna have a really good chance. That team was winning games with Mike White and Zach Wilson. Winning games with Zach Wilson was like winning games with me out there. So if you could do that and you replace Zach Wilson with him, and you get Zach Wilson up out of town, that's the biggest move of the offseason. I think that's the single biggest move. It takes the Jets from being cute to being a real contender in this entire thing. They could make it run to the Super Bowl. They could. Now, will they? It's not guaranteed, but they could.
I guess my sound went out. I said that we were going to talk about the stuff that happened. Because
I didn't hear you.
That's why I didn't say it. I was like, it didn't.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
My sound must have went out.
Nah, that's me. That's me.
We definitely talk. We definitely talk A-Rod for sure. That's a whole separate thing that we got to give.
That's a whole separate thing. All right, fair. Fair. Do we lose him?
Maybe. But what was I going to say? Darren Waller, that's another move that was pretty big too.
I would have said that. If I had known that, if I had heard him. The Darren Waller move is a huge move. Him going to Dayball is going to be crazy in calf, but those guys are going to use him wonderfully. It's not going to be like watching. Did you cut it out? Tone, you there?
Yeah, it froze for some reason.
It froze. I saw it. Yeah, I didn't know if we were still. I didn't even know what was going on. We just kept going because we didn't know. So all right.
Oh, perfect. So, anywho, since we kind of brought it up, and that AFC East, right? How y'all see? Obviously, there's still a lot of moves that need to be made. The draft is happening, but how do y'all see that AFC panning out? Obviously, the Patriots, they're not in the conversation. They're not in the conversation, but between Bills, Jets, and Dolphins added, we already talked about it. They added some pieces. The Bills are still the Bills. They're always good in the regular season. Playoffs is where there's a question mark. And the Jets, obviously, we believe by all accounts, is adding Aaron Rodgers.
Uh, I think it's only fair Miles take this one away for now. Go ahead, Miles. I think because you know what I know what you're gonna say. That's what I'm saying. So I'll let you give your piece here because you could say the Jets, and I know you're gonna go there with it. But I'm not gonna give my piece so you give yours about this because you're the one who's got the hysteria of the moment.
I mean, the offseason for us is like 5% started at this point. Like, there's still so many moves to make. Got to complete this trade. Quinn Williams needs to be re-signed to a big deal, which is going to be a lot of money. And then, like everybody's been saying, there's a lot of package deals that are going to come slowly once we get Aaron Rodgers in the building. So I think once that happens and we see what this team looks like, maybe around like June, July, I would say we're the favorite in the division. I don't think the Bills have really upgraded anything. Like the line is still iffy, and they still don't really have a true number two behind Steph Diggs. So that's really the biggest competition. I mean, the Dolphins, they could be good, but it all depends on the quarterback. Like they're really betting on Tua to, stay healthy. And I think I saw he was taking like jujitsu classes to learn how to fall on the field. And I'm like, all right, hopefully that helps you. But with that being said, right now, if we're going off the A-Rod trade being complete, I think that puts us a level ahead of the Bills because we were able to beat them and be competitive with Zach Wilson and Mike White behind a porous offensive line. So if now we have an all-pro MVP caliber quarterback, I mean, the sky's the limit. I'm not like getting ahead of myself. There's still a lot of moves to be made, but I think that division is winnable. And then once we go from there, then we could start talking about Super Bowl. But for now, focus on the division first.
Hey, so what's y'all giving up for A-Rod? And as a Jets fan, what are you willing to give up for him? Because that they said that's the only thing that's holding it right now is the compensation. The Packers are like, yo, y'all are that desperate for him. It's rumored, nobody knows yet. It's not been reported. It's rumored they want a first round pick plus more. The Jets, from what all rumored, is like, y'all asking for a lot. Y'all don't even want to be together anymore. This is a divorce, so we're not gonna give up all that. So, as a Jets fan, what are you willing to give up for A-Rod?
I mean, they're not going to get a first round pick this year just because of the fact that, yeah, if they really want to play hardball, they can sit on Aaron Rodgers and that $60 million stays on their cap, which, I mean, both teams are kind of being held up right now because of this trade not being done. You can't make moves truly until you know what the cap situation is going to be. So for them to move forward, which they're trying to do with Jordan Love, you need to get picks for this year at some point, which, yeah, a second round pick, that's fine by me. Second round pick this year, maybe a third round pick next year that could turn into a second or a first, depending on, if Rodgers comes back for the following season. But they're not going to get a first round pick. That's not happening.
Hey, for A-Rod, if I'm looking at the Packers side, y'all the ones that's quarterback hungry. I'm getting as much as I can for A-Rod, being that he's still a high level caliber player. And by all accounts, most people see he's gonna be the best quarterback in the division when he gets there. So I could see the Packers, I could see this dragging on. It's not going, I don't think the trade is officially finish anytime soon because Packers want something for him. Only thing that I think they'll end up doing is, I know if it's before June 1st, they got to pay like a $28 million dead hit cap or something like that. And it's more later on. So maybe they get it done quicker by that regard. But by all accounts, if they talking about they want a first round pick, I don't know. This is about to get dragged out.
But then if they wait until June 1st, then the draft is passed. So now you don't get any compensation for this year. So if you're playing hardball, then that's just bad business. So like the deadline is from here until, what was it, like third week of April when the draft is, or the end of April. So yeah, I mean, Trey Wingo says the deal is pretty much like 99% done. They're just trying to work out, small details. So I mean, he was right with Aaron Rodgers being here and wanting to be here on Friday last week. So if he's saying that the deal's almost done and he has a good source with that, then I'm believing him that that's going to be the case, and we're not going to have to give up a first round pick. Because one, our first round pick is like a top 15 pick. We're not giving that up for a guy who we have to also pay close to $60 million if they're not eating any money. So
I'd give up one next year though, because by all accounts, if A-Rod is here, that's going to be a low first round pick anyway.
Yeah, that's why you do it with conditions. So you trade that second round pick this year, and then it could be a second round pick or a third round pick that turns into a second or a first next year, depending on if Rodgers decides to come back. Because who knows? I mean, he said when he went in his bunker, he was 90% retired, and then came out, and all of a sudden he heard all these rumors that the Packers were shopping him, and that lit a fire under him. So if this is like the swan song and he's really going out vengeful, then they're not going to get a first round pick either way. But if he comes back and plays 2 years, which I think he will, just looking at the deals that some of these guys got, like Alan Lazard got a 4-year deal, which is really a 2-year deal. So he's on the hook for at least 2 years, and I don't think he would have done that unless he had an idea that Rodgers would be here for a couple of years. So
I know I'm getting tired, and Greg, you could go. I'm getting tired of A-Rod on the Pat McAfee show. I'm getting tired of him having like this crucifixion complex, like he's being crucified in the media. Bruh, you were thinking about retirement 90% way. The Packers, rightfully so, was like, yeah, I'm about to find out what we get. He talking about retirement? Come on, bro. Don't be sitting there like you the victim here and, oh, the media is doing this and Adam Schefter is texting my phone. I didn't give him my number. Bruh, can we get this deal done? I'm tired of hearing Aaron Rodgers speak, bro. Like, Aaron Rodgers is Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers is Brett Favre. And he talks with so much arrogance with one ring. One ring. That's all you have to show for it, A-Rod, is one ring. And you talk as if you're the greatest quarterback ever. Shut up, get to the Jets, and if you win one more in New York, that one ring will be like 3 rings, being that the Jets ain't been to the Super Bowl since Super Bowl 3. Just shut up and go play, bro. Aaron Rodgers is annoying. Greg, the ball's in your court. I'm just fed up with Aaron Rodgers. This joker is if I see another Pat McAfee, Aaron Rodgers on the show today, I'm going to go crazy, bro. I can't stand
it. I hope he understands that if he was 90% sure he's going to retire a couple months ago, and he's coming back because he feels some kind of way because he heard the Packers were looking to move him because they were just tired of his nonsense. If he comes to New York and he doesn't go to OTAs, or he goes on some darkness retreat or some light retreat, he wants to mix it up and go on a light retreat instead, or he goes to alpaca farm or something like that, hang out with the alpacas for a couple of weeks, or he goes and hangs out with some Buddhist monks during OTAs and training camp. He's missing training camp practices. If any of that stuff happens at all, I hope he understands that New York's going to tear him apart. He thinks Adam Schefter is bad. He thinks Diana Rossini is bad. And like he doesn't know who she is on the show, talking about, oh, is that her name? You give me a break, bro. You know exactly who Diana Rossini is. Either way, he acting like he don't know who they are. He has a problem with them. He'll have a bigger problem with the New York media. I promise you that. It will not go well if this guy does not deliver and play good football. New York, like you can't, when living in New York, you can't miss New York radio. You don't have to listen to the radio to feel it. Like it's a buzz. Like everyone knows. So, okay? Like everyone knows. Trust me. So it's no way that he can avoid the real criticism that's going to come if he doesn't play good football and when he gets here. But again, I think he will. I think this is a ready-made situation. He wanted to bring. I mean, he said he denied it, that he made it like an ultimatum to bring his boys along and bring back Jordy Nelson and bring back Donald Driver and them dudes or whatever. Cool, but he wants Randall Cobb to come, right? Like, whose snaps is Randall Cobb taking? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand that piece of it. Like, but again, you got Lazard to come. I'm sure they're gonna bring Randall Cobb along. He's gonna come too, right? And that's fine. But there's not a lot of touches to go around. Elijah Moore got to get that ball. He's a talented player. Like, you got to throw him the ball, Aaron. Like, he's got to be involved in what you're doing. He's got to be a part of your plans, right? Because he's too talented of a player. And I don't think the Jets want to trade him. The Jets clearly didn't want to trade him last year when he wanted to get out of here, But again, I think this should work. He's a talented quarterback. They won games with less at quarterback, and they're a ready-made team to go make a run. I don't know about putting them over the Bills quite yet. I can see the argument for it. I'm a little hesitant to do so because I think the Bills are going to have a better year this year. What did they go last year? 13-3 or something like that?
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to do that. I understand Jets fans' excitement to do that, and I know they beat them, so that's fine. It's an in-division game, by the way, so that's a coin flip, like I always say. But I'm not ready to put them over the Bills in that environment quite yet. But the Bills have holes, and they lost Tremaine Edmonds, and so I understand. That is not crazy to say, and I am not arguing really against it either. But yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers upon arrival is probably is the second best quarterback in the division behind Josh Allen. Fair enough. Maybe he outplays him. You have a guy who can outplay him easily, and you could have the top quarterback in the division. So Jets are in a good position right now. They are. As far as what to give up for him, it's tough because the reality is the Packers made sure they had a little bit of leverage here with the way they kind of structured everything and structured his contract, and they can wait and just take their time with this. And the Jets don't want to take their time. They want to get this guy here, do the introductory press conference, get it out the way, right? And the Jets also haven't had a quarterback since I've been alive. That's worth anything. So there's that.
Pennington was good.
Like I said, they haven't got a quarterback that's worth anything since I've been alive. There's an urgency to get it done. I think they will, and the compensation will be reasonable. They shouldn't give a first round pick. I wouldn't want to do that, but if you had to, you do it because it gives you the best chance to win a Super Bowl that you've had in your entire lifetime as a Jets fan. If you were born in the 90s, so there's that. But it is what it is. I hope he plays well because New York will not treat him nicely. This ain't Wisconsin. This ain't Wisconsin at all. Like you can't hear a pin drop down 50 miles away. It's not that. It's not that. So I hope he knows what he's signing up for because New York is not sweet when you don't play well.
Hey, across the
play well.
What you say?
You don't think he's gonna play well?
I think he will, but he had some inconsistent moments last year, man. And you guys are a better team and he's in a better situation. But the O-line is still got some question marks on your O-line too, So he's just got to play well. Like you early on, you got to come out and play good football because it can turn on you quick. You know that, Miles. It can turn on him quick. He had some moments last year where it just looked bad, like that game against Detroit with all the marbles for all the marbles, right? And Lambeau, the interceptions he threw, they were just non-competitive throws. I hadn't seen him do that in a very long time. So he comes to New York and does that in MetLife, man. They're gonna start throwing stuff at you for real, bro. Don't think it's sweet because New York has got other things that people go pay attention to. At that time, the Mets will be in the World Series, maybe, or the Yankees are making a push, right? Like whatever it's gonna be, there's other places they can turn to, but they're gonna dog you in the way. New York fans will dog walk you. It is not Wisconsin. So that's the difference.
The weapons that he had last year in Green Bay compared to the Jets is like night and day.
That's fair.
The thing is, the reason why he struggled though is because he did not decide to go build a rapport with the wide receivers. We saw Watson by the middle of the season. they looking like, yo, is he gonna be is he the best rookie out? Oh, is he gonna be on one of the rookie teams?
Yeah.
That could have been like that from day one. I think the Jets hands down have the better receiving core.
In the shower. In the shower?
My bad.
I think the Jets have the best receiving core compared to them, hands down. The issue I think it is if he's going to actually, which we have to wait to see, is he going to go to OTAs? Is he going to build a rapport before the season starts with Elijah Moore, with Garrett Wilson, with Lazard in this offense, and whoever else they decide to add that's on Aaron Rodgers' list that he has for the hostages? Like, he has to do his part. And that's the only thing that we got to see from Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be committed to do the other stuff? We know the talent is there. He's going to be committed to do the other stuff across the locker room. You got the New York Giants, Paris Campbell, Slayton's coming back. Darren Waller's there.
Yeah.
How you feeling about your Giants so far? Free agency just began. We got the draft coming up. But so far, how do you like what your Giants front office has done?
I think Joe Shane is brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I think he played it exactly how any Giants fan with two brain cells would want to play it. You know, this wide receiving class is trash. This free agent wide receiving class is trash. There's no one that moves the needle. Not Nelson Aguilar. Not Juju. None of them guys can be wide receiver ones. And the Giants need a wide receiver one. They need an alpha. They need that. DeAndre Hopkins is just a risk written all over it. And the Giants took a risk, right? Because they're investing into make Daniel Jones a better player. And so they go out and get Waller. That's a risk I'd rather take anyways for a third-round pick that we got for the Kadarius Toney trade, the guy who gave us nothing while he was here. And you get that pick and you flip it into Darren Waller when the Packers offered a second-round pick for him in the first place and you get him for a third. Come on, Joe. That's willing and dealing. That's crazy. And in this offense, what Darren Waller could do with Daboll and Kafka, that's scary. Like what they're the ways they're gonna deploy him with Bellinger already and Bellinger's a really good player. Like he's a really good player early, right? I think he'll be better next year. I have every reason to believe that. He's a great blocker. He has good hands on the field. He did a great job for us. A very reliable player. So you'll be able to run more 2 tight end sets as well. I love what they did. Paris Campbell had his best year as a pro last year. And when he does, his skill set just fits in real nice with his speed and his ability to get open. He's shifty. You can use him a lot of different ways. They'll be very creative with the way they use him and Wan'Dale Robinson as well. And bringing back Slayton made a lot of sense. I know Giants fans have a lot of criticism for Slayton because he's had some drops in the past, but he was the most consistent wide receiver the Giants have had over the last 3 or 4 years. To be quite honest, he doesn't get hurt. He's an Iron Man. He's there every week. He's great on vertical routes and crossing routes. He gets open. He's fast. You can't teach speed. And he doesn't. The drops thing is a little overblown in my opinion too. He's catching most of the balls that are thrown his way. He's become a more reliable receiver as time has gone on as well. And he's flashed more times than I can count. So I'm really happy he's back too as well. But I want Giants fans to know that none of these moves mean that they won't go wide receiver in the first round of the draft. Like they still don't have the wide receiver one yet. I think they'll be creative in trying to find one. As you can see, they were creative to get Darren Waller in the first place. And that's the best tight end they've had in ages, right? I think Bellinger is really good in ages.
Jeremy
Shockey, right? And I think that Waller is more explosive than Shockey was. And Shockey was really good. But Waller is an incredible athlete. And so pair him up with that offense and get him out there with Daniel Jones and Saquon and them boys. The offense is going to be a lot better. So I'm really excited about that. Defensively, Okereke, what they did with him, he's great. He's had, I think, at least 150 tackles in each of the last 2 seasons. He covers well, too. He's one of the best cover linebackers in the league, too. Only allows 2.3 yards per catch, right? So I was reading, too. So just very excited. The linebacking core last year for the Giants was horrible. They needed to upgrade that position. They did that. They got a guy who can go to multiple Pro Bowls in that system. And with Wink Martindale as aggressive as he is, getting a great athlete like that, playing Mike linebacker, that's a win, man. That's a big win. So I'm excited. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think they're not done. They're going to be more creative. They're going to try to get more weapons with Daniel Jones. This is the fun part for Giants fans. They invested in Daniel Jones. That's the quarterback of the future. That's the franchise guy. They put the money where their money where their mouth is. And now they're going to start you're going to start to see them just invest and get guys around them. And I think that's the fun part about all this. They weren't doing that at first because there were still question marks. There aren't question marks now for these guys. And the only thing that matters is the opinion of Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. I don't give a damn what nobody else says. I don't care about what Stephen A. Smith says. I don't care about what your mom says, what your dad says, what your brother says, what your friend says, what your baby mama says. I don't care. They think Daniel Jones is really, really good. They think he's a franchise quarterback, and they think he's that kind of level of player, could be a top 10 quarterback in this league. That is the only opinion that should matter, period. Because I don't know more football than Brian Daboll or Joe Shane. I'm not that arrogant. So I don't know why anybody else would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know why anybody else would think that. But great start to the offseason. I'm very excited. I think this team could really compete for the division and, coming in second place, get you into the playoffs. And I think they can at least do that,
Baker Mayfield to the Bucks. Do they average more points than they did last year with Tom Brady?
I don't think so. I mean,
mind you, the Bucks were 26th in scoring points and total yards. 26th.
I think the rumor is that they like that Kyle Trask kid and they want to give him an opportunity. And I think Baker Mayfield's there to be a stopgap until they finally give him a chance. Baker Mayfield kind of is what he is at this point, right? He is behind a good old line with Tristan Wirfs and the guys they have there, Jensen and their other linemen. So he has a chance to be productive, right? But it's about who's calling the plays offensively to give him a chance. He needs a good offensive coordinator to set things up for him to be productive. He can still throw the ball around the yard. He's going to be productive, I think, in that system. But I think what's more likely to happen is that at some point in the season, Kyle Trask takes over the job, and that's just where we are. Baker is literally Taylor Heinicke now. Like, he's that caliber of quarterback, which is ironic because he had some things to say about Daniel Jones early on in his career about winning and all that stuff, right? And it's funny how things work out. Daniel Jones has got the bag, and my man's he getting $8 million or whatever. He's still sitting on all money because he's rich, but it don't make a difference. Like, it ain't money you made playing football. So I just think it's funny how things work out. But he'll be productive enough. I just feel like he's a stopgap option for them because they want to see what Trask is made of, and they're more likely to go try to draft a quarterback in the next draft, anyways, right? They're going to rebuild. And I don't be surprised if you start hearing names like Mike Evans come up in trade, in trade scenarios and things like that throughout the course of the season. Godwin too, right? That you'll start to hear about him come up for trade discussions because they're going to blow the way the Rams are blowing it up. They're going to blow it up. They're a team constructed right now to try to win a Super Bowl, and they're going to have to just tear it down to the studs to go get their quarterback and make sure they're bad enough to do so. So I think it's far more likely to be the case, and that's what happened. He's just a stopgap. Think Jacoby Brissett, when you think about Baker Mayfield. And Jacoby better than him, by the way. So again, Heinicke more like that's the speed.
Question, right? So obviously March Madness has started. We've seen a couple upsets already today. Arizona's out of there. 13, I forgot the name. Never even heard of that college. 14 seed won on a game-winning 3. Is it just me, or is it different this year? Like, I literally have no interest. I didn't even fill out any brackets. I didn't watch one game today. Like, I had absolutely no interest. And I think part of it too is you got so many options now. You got Overtime Elite. You got players going to the G League. You got players going to the G League at night. Players going overseas. I think college basketball kind of low-key is dead. And like, the most star player we have is who this year? Brandon Miller,
who was a whole criminal, like, or at least the don't give me those people saying those people.
I agree. I feel a lot of that.
The only reason why we know about him is because if you're not a basketball junkie, like I don't count me or you or Miles, whatever, y'all watch basketball, but the college basketball always thrived because off of rivalries, Duke, UNC, and the other big ones, Big East ones. Now Big East is dead, but they thrived off the rivalries, and they thrived off of the superstar talent that everyone talks about being, the guy, the number one pick. We're arguing about him being the number one pick. This year, that's not the case because Scoot Henderson's number 2, and he would have been number 1 any other year. But then they're having an issue now where the overseas guys, they're taking over. And so Victor Wembanyama gets all the hype, and it takes away from the college game. What's funny? What college basketball needs to revive it, because it is dead. And I was talking about this earlier today. No one cares. I don't care. I was watching Houston a minute ago. It's just hard to watch. There's no superstar prospect that really excites me. Like, I get excited about people, but I'm saying they don't move the needle from a charisma standpoint. Not the average person sitting at the office tomorrow or the water cooler is not talking to his boys about college basketball really like that. They're not talking about a star player. They need
tuning in. I think that's the thing. Like, there's good players, but there's nobody moving the needle where I'm gonna sit down and watch this. No.
You have to lock in like the chosen one, whatever. Like, and not no Bron level, but there was John Wall, there was Anthony Davis, there was those guys. They came up until we got to know them. Steph Curry ran college basketball. JJ Redick, we love to hate him. They were guys, they were names. That's not the case this year. But who they need is Bronny James to come in. They need Bronny James to pick the college route because people are going to love to hate Bronny James, and he's going to be a name that people are going to sit down and watch. That's it. It's not. You don't need people who are smart basketball minds to be able to break down his game from point A to point B. You don't need that. What you need is someone who is lightning rod. Like college basketball would have been on fire if they got LaMelo Ball to play. If LaMelo Ball had gone to USC like he was supposed to, that it would have been a movie. And they needed someone like that because again, we don't need fans who are educated because most people aren't educated. Most of y'all don't know a damn thing. That's why I'll be responding in the comments. Most of y'all don't know nothing about basketball, period. But you need someone to move the needle. You need someone to move the needle. You need someone who people love to hate or love to love. Bronny James will be that. LaMelo Ball would have been that. But those guys can revive the sport, right? We'll lock in at 10 o'clock on the East Coast and watch a USC game. I'm going to do that. If Bronny go to USC, I'm going to watch the game. You go to Oregon, I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to stay up late. And best believe other people will too. And you'll lead that with First Take will lead with the stat line. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a big deal. G League, you go away for a while and no one cares. You go to the Australian League, you go away for a while. It's not the same. It doesn't create the same buzz, but they need a star. They need a guy they can just market this thing around, even for just a year. And right now, you don't have that. Brandon Miller doesn't move the needle. The only thing he did that was noticeable, he's a heck of a player, amazing player. But the only thing he did was leave a gun in the back for his boy to go shoot a girl. The gun in the back of his car. You know what I'm saying? He thinks it's his power. So I don't know what he's on. Like, I don't know what he's on. And that's the biggest reason why we talk about him. But that's really what it is. I think that's why it's dying. I think if we think about it, it comes down to that. No one's moving the needle. There's no individual player that does it.
What's your thoughts on it, Miles? I think the other thing too is the powerhouses suck.
Yeah.
UNC ain't make it.
Yeah.
Duke's in it, but it's not like they are dominating. UCLA, Kansas. The top team, low key, is Houston for the last little bit. You feel me? Like
they're not sexy. They're not sexy. If you love basketball, they're a sexy. Like you can watch it and enjoy that they do, but they don't get guys that move the needle over there. Like they're not about to get Bronny.
Kentucky's been up and down.
Yeah, Kentucky hasn't been good in years. Kyle Parker ain't got the big name guy in a while. DJ Wagner will be the first big name guy he gets, but DJ Wagner's personality is not going to lean to what I'm talking about. No one's going to care that he's there. It's not going to matter. Bronny is the only person that can move the needle. He is the charismatic figure because everyone loves to hate LeBron. So it'll transfer to his son, unfortunately, and that is where you'll start to see an uptick in the interest around college basketball. But yeah, Miles, what you say? I had a million words on this.
Well, no, with college basketball, I don't think it's one of those things where, it's not super popular like the NBA or all this other stuff, mainly because, like you said, there's no stars. But then, I don't think people who watch college basketball really care about that because it's really just kids who are coming out here and playing hard. They're playing competitive. That's why you see Princeton beat in Arizona. Why you see Furman, teams that you never see on TV, they're getting recognition. That's why St. Peter's last year was so fun because this is a team that you can kind of relate to. It's teams that these are guys who are slept on. It's not your superstars. You're not going high in the draft, but for a month and a half, they're on top of the world. So that's why you see all these people tweeting about the loss and the upset because it's like it's enjoyable. It's one of those things where like March Madness is top 2 greatest things in sports, in my opinion. Because once you get to March, people get tight. This is where you really see who's skilled, who's not going to crack under pressure. Because then you see teams like Virginia, they seem to do this almost every year, except for the year they actually won it all, where they lose to a team that you shouldn't take for granted. And that's what makes college basketball so great is that you get these upsets and you get these teams that just take over and you just start to root for him. You root for the underdog in college basketball. That's the thing. I don't think you root for stars and whatnot because there was that time where all the top pros were going to college, but now it's kind of like it's watered down. Like kids don't want to go to college; they want to go the G League or overseas route because they're trying to get paid right now. So like the youth, they're more worried about the money more so than you know that March Madness fame. Because who cares about that? Like I can get seen on ESPNU or ESPN2 playing for G League Ignite. Same way I can if I'm going to UNC or Kentucky. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but like not March Madness, NCAA basketball is not meant for just superstars to be built for the whole season. Like it's a long season, but it culminates in March and April.
I think
I think they have a problem though, just like the NBA. Nobody cares about the regular season now.
Well, I think stars make people care about the regular season. I remember when Trae Young was coming up out of Oklahoma, I was locked in. People were talking about Trae Young, bro. Like I remember people like hitting me up talking about Trae Young, like just, and I know people who for a fact are casuals who hit me up about Trae Young. So like, there's something to be said for name value out there with these guys, and I think that they've been lacking that. There's just like that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. I think that a lot of these guys who would be incredible, like the kid who no one barely ever talks about, Amen Thompson. No one talks about him. He plays G League for the G League, whatever he does, OT, whatever it is, OTE. He worked with Chris or something like that. He's an incredible athlete that we would all be talking about, but he plays in the middle of nowhere in Atlanta and no one cares because he plays for OTE or he's getting paid. Even a guy in Jersey, Nas Cunningham, who could have been a stud going to play college basketball, didn't go do that. He went to go to OTE or whatever. So it's just one of those things. Like it's tough because you need that national superstar to move the needle. I really believe that. I mean, the product's not suffering that much. The basketball's still good, but you're not going to reel in casuals that way. And casuals make this thing go. That's where you really make your money. That's where you make your money at. The NBA makes its money off casuals. Casuals no Ja Morant. Casuals no Bron. Casuals no KD. Football, same thing, right? Like it's the same. I just you don't reel them in. It's hard. I think on some level, you got to have that kid that everyone talks about as being, hey, is he going number one? Ain't nobody in college basketball this year going number one. Nobody. Brandon Miller, as good as he is not going number one. Scoot and another kid are going to 1 and 2, and Victor. And Victor's French. All right. So eating baguettes. Like we're not even talking about a dude from here. So it's just a whole different conversation. I think Miles, you make a great point though. It certainly works both ways. I just think that these kids their names don't hold no weight anymore. It's not ringing bells out here.
I think the other thing too, and Miles, you go.
Oh, go ahead.
NFL is around the same time. And at least this year, I can say I've been more locked in, especially granted, it's not every year Aaron Rodgers being traded. But this year, I've been more locked in on getting my NFL updates from Adam Schefter than I've been locked in on this March Madness. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I saw the notification and I was like, oh, somebody got beat again. Woo, Virginia, y'all do this every year. This ain't nothing new. I ain't posted on Instagram. Like, I'll post that tomorrow. What's going on with A-Rod? What's going on with Lamar? Like, you don't have that every year, but still, like this year, A-Rod going to the Jets. Lamar, he's getting no offers as of yet. Oh, I'm locked in on that. I need to see what's going on with that. These college basketball, I'll see what y'all becoming the NBA. Honestly, I'm watching NBA more anyway. I'm not watching a lesser product. So it's a lesser product.
It is. I agree.
I mean,
y'all run too many plays.
It's a lesser product because all the superstars are in the pros. That's the point. Like, if you're great, you're going to be playing on the biggest stage. Like, all these kids in college, they're striving to be there, but like you said, we haven't seen anybody of late that's really a superstar coming out. So you're seeing a lot more like mid-tier basketball players coming out who you're not anticipating the next Zion right now. You're anticipating the next like Trey Murphy to come out, or the next like these 3-and-D guys, or guys who are gonna have to find a role in the league and not have a team build that team around you.
You're right. And to your point, though, when John Wall was at Kentucky, I was locked in.
When Zion was at Duke, you were locked in. Zion had gravitational pull. Ain't nobody was watching for RJ Barrett. They were watching for Zion, right? Like it was about Zion. It was about Zion.
Bullet.
It was when John Morant was at Murray State, we was locked in, right? They had gravitational pull. Like we don't. Since then we haven't had no one's been. Who's the last star in college basketball that's reeled us in? College basketball needs Bronny. I'm telling you, no matter how Bronny performs, they need Bronny. I think he'll be really good. But no matter how he performs, you see, here's the point, right? I think he'll be really good, but people would argue with me about that, right? But if I tell you, oh, I think Amari Bailey is going to be really good, people going to be like, who the hell cares about him? I care more about his mom than him. That's what people would say. Crazy, right? Crazy world we live in. I'm just saying. He more famous because Drake dated his mom.
Not that crazy.
Bow shot figure out, hey, you trying to be a stepmom? What's good?
Exactly my point.
Yo, if Miles pockets was deep, he'd be at UCO games every home game. Yeah, I'm an avid supporter. Where your mom at?
That's real life. That's real life, man. I'm telling you, like they just need that star to come along and it'll move the needle a little bit. I think Bronny will do that. You'll see. People will pay lock in next year if Bronny chooses to go to college. They better hope he does. They better hope he does though.
Man, NCAA themselves, not the school, not NIL. They need to pay Bronny.
Yeah.
Please come.
Yeah.
Please come. And people gonna be locked in wherever he goes because at least half of those games Bron gonna come to.
Sellouts. New TV deals will be made because of it. Because people will be watching the games. You can put them on CBS on Saturdays. People are going to lock in. They're going to change their plans. They're going to watch because they just want to see how he does. He's LeBron's son. I want to see how he does. Is he worth all the hype? I saw him dunking on Instagram. Most people have only seen clips. They haven't watched games. So everyone will be tuning in to have an opinion the next day about at the water cooler at work, talking to John about how Bronny ain't that good because blah, 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 blah. Oh, Michael Jordan's son be so much better. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan a deadbeat. His son ain't even good. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. Whatever. See, it's going to be that.
His son is disgusting over here messing with Larsa. The Jordan family really do not like Scotty.
And also shout out to Jordan for the sophomore wins of selling the Hornets. He's the worst owner. He's been the worst owner in pro sports for the last 20 years, whatever he's been there for. They've done nothing. They've accomplished nothing. The only good pick he had was Kemba Walker. I think that might have been the only good pick they had. Who else?
LaMelo.
Oh, yeah, but is that him or Mitch? All right, cool. 2. I forgot about LaMelo because Melo was the reason from the corner. Was that Mitch Kupchak or him? Whatever it was. But, yeah, 2? Is it only 2, though? Al Jefferson? Was Al Jefferson the original pick of the...
If you want to give him that, Al. If you want to give him Al, okay. Yeah,
Albert was all right.
He was, but come on. If we look at that draft, was that the best player that they could have got?
Probably not.
Really, Mike? Now I'm about to look it up. I think the big thing with him selling the team now, I want to see, is he going to try to sell to somebody who's black?
He won't. What? I can't
I'm saying that's more of a thing for me. Like, you're one of the few black owners in all of sports.
He ain't talking about black person.
Please do not go sell it to Tom that owns technology over in California that's worth $2.5 billion. Please don't do that.
That's
Michael Jordan.
Who wants to buy the Hornets?
A black person might buy it. I mean, I think you get a bid.
Did he?
Well, Michael Jordan has shown you repeatedly throughout his life that he only cares about dollars and cents. He don't care about pushing no agenda for black people or pushing forward the cause for black people and all that stuff. He don't care about none of that. He's about dollars and cents. He told you that. He told you Republicans buy sneakers too. He said that. He said, y'all gonna get these sneakers. I'm gonna push these. I'm doing that. So I don't think you're gonna see him sell to a black guy. I really don't. Unless the guy, he's gonna sell to the highest bidder. That's it. That's what it is. Steve Cohen will probably buy him.
You got other things to worry about.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
So Al Jefferson was originally drafted by Boston in 2004.
Oh, damn. He don't even got that. He only got 2 good draft picks. Michael Jordan has 2 good draft picks under his belt.
That year, he drafted Emeka Okafor at the number 2 overall pick, 2004, with the options of still having, I mean, if you like it, Luol Deng was still on the board, Andre Iguodala, J.R. Smith was on the board, Josh Smith, Jameer Nelson.
Those guys were all solid, all of them.
So Michael
And that wasn't even
Gilchrist,
that
he don't
good.
count. Michael Gilchrist, he don't.
Hey, yo, chill out. You are a certified troll. Like, you really are a certified troll. MKG? Really?
Jersey dudes don't even talk about him. That's the craziest part. You know how they are about talking about.
No, that's funny because Jersey dudes will fight you about Kyrie. They'll fight you about some of the bootiest jokers that came from Jersey.
Isaiah Briscoe. Say something bad about Isaiah Briscoe.
No. See, that's when I'm gonna let that.
See? Say something bad about him. I thought woodworks.
But
Losing
pump the brakes on Briscoe though.
Mhm.
On Briscoe.
Mhm.
We're not gonna do that. I love Briscoe's game. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. I love Briscoe's game. Did his NBA career pan out?
I said he wasn't going to the NBA. I said I never believed in it. And people used to get mad at me. I'm like, yo, he's not. It's fine. I know what's look forward at with these guys who look like the NBA guys right away. You can tell. I just didn't see it. But it's all right. That's fine.
Hey, that handle package, because he's not in the league, people don't talk about it. But that handle package is crazy.
Yeah, go play with the big three. Play with Chris Brown. Chris Brown. He crossing Chris Brown. Yeah, Ice Cube. All right, man. He's good. He bought a bodega. He bought a bodega the other day. You heard about that?
Not the other day. He's owned that for about 2 years now. Yeah. Between them both of y'all.
You see this guy trying to shade.
Yo, between the both of y'all, oh my gosh. Y'all really funny as heck. We gonna
have a Jersey group chat about you.
They probably already do. They really probably already do.
Yo, this guy Greg is crazy.
You already know the big homies watching. You already know.
Oh my god, bro.
Big homies is watching. Don't let it get back to.
This culture is so funny to me, bro. You can't say nothing bad about nobody, bro. But meanwhile, Isaiah Briscoe don't know y'all from nobody. He don't know y'all on the street. Not saying nothing to y'all. After he probably spitting on half of you dudes. But y'all over here want to act like he's Kyrie too. Kyrie don't give a damn about none of y'all. Kyrie got family he don't give a damn about. I bet. But meanwhile, they're coming after me because I'm talking about Kyrie Irving. Okay. What's Dallas doing since he got there? How's that been working out? Damn near lost every game he's been there. He sucks. They're not winning no games.
Don't talk about he sucks. Don't deny talent.
That's just me being sour, but you know.
Yeah, the talent ain't never been a question. It's everything else.
It's everything else. I'm just saying, they ain't winning games. I won more games with Mikal Bridges than I did with him. Mikal Bridges done outscored him and KD since getting here, by the way. I'm just saying.
Is it Mikal or Michael?
Shut up.
Yo, we're going to close out the show with who would you rather have present right now and in the future? Top players under 25 edition. Top players under 25 edition. Who would you rather have now and the future? John Morant and Edwards. Who would you rather have presently and in the future?
And Edwards. Just because he's not playing with guns in his free time. Yeah. Basketball's his first love. The guns thing changes everything, man. But Ant Edwards is genuinely that talented. Ant Edwards is the answer.
SGA, Tyrese Halliburton.
SGA. Whoa, that's not easy. That's not easy, bro. I'm gonna say that's hard. I'm gonna say Tyrese. You can go either way. Tyrese is that good. The numbers is crazy. Tyrese is that good, bro. I'll go Tyrese.
Jordan Poole, Tyler Hero.
They're the same player. I hope you know that. I'll go Poole. Tyler struggled a bit. I'll go Poole. Tyler's still better than your boy though, but that's a whole different conversation.
Funny enough, I was looking at some lists today. More than 3 sites no longer have RJ Barrett in the conversation of the top 25 players under 25.
He's not good. It's the worst kept secret in the NBA. He's not good. That contract not gonna look good, man. They got to get rid of him. The Knicks are good now. It's time to move past every remnant of just garbage from your past. You gotta dump out the old hoodies from your ex. It's time to get
this man threw out biblical terms. He said every remnant.
Get the remnants out, man. Get them out. Flush your system out, man. Go get Pepto Bismol and deuce it all out. It's done. It's time to move on. Time to move on, bro. He's not it. He's not it. No, he's not part of the future. The Knicks are good. The Knicks are a good basketball team. It's time to start acting like one. Move on when you make a mistake. Move on. That's what you do. Clean your hands.
I don't know what you talk about.
Clean your hands. Clean your hands, yo. That's it. I don't know why you're getting defensive for RJ for Rohan Barrett. He sucks. What we doing, man?
Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron. Trae Young, yo, people forget. That's the thing. But the issues, okay, fine. De'Aaron Fox. I'm thinking about the issues he's had, and the interpersonal issues.
Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic.
Luka. I'll take Luka. Luka's far more consistent to me. Jason has bad games, and it's just too often. For the last month, he hasn't even been the best player on his team. Jaylen Brown has been. So I just can't. The MVP conversation was just far too early for me. He's talented. He's great. He's real good. But I'm gonna go with Luka. Luka's the more short thing to me. I know what I'm getting every night.
I was a big advocate of keeping them together last year, but they can't keep those two together. They're not gonna win with that. And honestly, for Jaylen Brown's sake, for him to go flourish and be who he want to be, I think his agent quietly need to request a trade. That's not gonna work, and he's not going. It's the same similar situation. I'm not saying Tatum is on the level of Shaq, but it's the same similar situation that Jaylen Brown will be in the shadow of Jason Tatum. Regardless, they could win a championship this year. What are they gonna say? Jason Tatum led them. Jason Tatum is the finals MVP. Jason Tatum was the best player on the team. Even though we saw in the finals, Jaylen Brown outplayed him multiple games. Jaylen Brown came directly at his neck during the All-Star game and had better possessions. Jaylen Brown, I'm not saying is better, but for him and his growth of his career, of what he wants to be, I'm sure, I don't know the man, but I'm sure he wants to be remembered as one of the greats. He can't stay with Tatum. It's not going to work. He'll be known as one of the best Batman, one of the best Robin. Yeah. And Tatum's going to be Batman.
Look, you're not going to get an argument from me about it because there's just too many times when Jaylen Brown's out playing him. So we're talking about him being your 1A. You got to play far too many times for me. That's the best what it boils down to for me.
Man, Jason Tatum, he been struggling lately. Jaylen Brown, he stay ready. And if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.